So let's start our day with lesson number 6, which is debugging techniques. In this, we'll be learning how one can debug the logical errors. And here you'll get introduced to put log statement. Partially, you people are aware of this put log statement. But in this chapter, we'll see how put log statement is used to debug your logical errors. So what do you mean by logical errors? Now, errors, we know that whenever we write a program, in case there is an error in a syntax, you get a syntax error in log. When there is a syntax error, SAS stops processing there and it gives you the error message and it does not move ahead and proceed your step. Okay, so that is where syntax error comes. But when there is a logical error, okay, so that time logical error, the word itself, that is your code is correct, the syntax is all fine, but the output which is coming is not as per the requirement of your result. And there is no error message in your log. It's telling it's perfectly processed well as per the instructions, but the result is incorrect. So in that case, when the logic of your program is not matching as per your programming conditions or your business scenario and the result is incorrect, we term it as logical error. And how one can find the logical error? One can always look into the errors with this put log statement, where it gives you the message in logs about your steps being processed at every point. Whenever SAS is processing a particular step, it gives you the message into log. So objective here is we'll use the put log statement in data step to help identify logical error. So understand this business scenario. I hope everyone can view my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So looking into this business scenario, it's telling that you have a mailing list application at Orient Star and it's not working properly. So you have to use a debugging technique to identify and correct the problem. So if you look at this data, you have a mailing data where you have the information about name, either those are customers or employees, but you have name and their addresses. Okay. So there is address 1 and address 3 column. And in this you have its state and its pin code along with country. So when you are extracting the information from address 3, you are separating out the values from address 3 to create this as a separate value for state column, this as a separate value for zip. So this is what it's coming. Two different columns. But look at the values. See the highlighted values in the original column and see the extracted values in your result. What you could see here.
They're
Yes,
truncated.
absolutely correct. The values are truncated. So though you might have given the correct instructions to extract the values, but it is not appearing correctly into your output. Okay. So this is where logic errors comes. So a logic error occurs when the program statement follows the rules and executes, but the results are not correct. There is no notes given to log. So log errors are often difficult to detect in this case. So your program is correct. There is no issues in your program, no syntax message errors, no notes, but the result is incorrect. So this is the section where we will be discussing on identifying the logical errors. So this was your code. And with this code, it's absolutely giving you the output correctly as per your syntax in log. But in the result, in your output data set, you find the values are incorrectly extracted where it's not extracting whole of the observations, it's truncating. Okay, so this is your partial output. So if you see this code very carefully, of course, they are creating new variables, city, state, zip, hence they are providing its length. You are asking SAS to find an address only for where the value is US. Okay, you are of course renaming the name where you are giving it in specific order, that is first name and then your second name, that is last name. Then you are extracting city state zip. To extract the substring from your string, you are using scan function. So from your original column, this is the second word, this is the third word separated by comma. Hence, city from address 3, the first word separated from delimiter. So city is extracted. Second word is zip, state, third is zip. So instructions are all okay, but the values are not correctly executed or resulted. So hence we'll be looking ahead how one can look into your data by using put log statement. So to look into your put log statement, and just show this code as well in your so this I just copy this. So let me create a library for my PG2. This is my code. All right. So this is my code. I execute this data step. I get the output. Same thing. The result is incorrect. Okay. So now what alarm is coming? Now this alarm is related to your some integrity. Yes. But this is what you see. Notes. There are notes, but there's no error. So it's telling invalid data for Ray at this particular point. So name it's not able to create correctly. So let me check your name. So see, look at it. It's not extracting name correctly. So is it because of this? Because of the copy paste, it's giving me this. So see, it's catexing. It's extracting the second word. Of course, between the first word, you should have space and scanning from the first, which is you are getting first name and last name as a sequence. Now it's correct. All right. So if you see this name, you have first name and you will have last name separated by space. All right. Address 1 is the required column and address 2 you are extracting city, state, zip, but state and zip is incorrect. All right. So how you will make use of your put log statement. Okay. So now how a put log statement is used? A put log is a statement where you ask SAS to show the values of your PDB being processed at every step. All right. So hence we write put log. So we are asking SAS that show the processing steps of your PDB at every point whenever it's processing into log. So in the how is this put log is used? Put log is a statement where you can use within your data step to check your PDB when processed at every iteration of data step, and it will show you the contents of PDB being processed in log. By default, generally it never shows any PDB contents like this. See, this was your data step. It's directly telling this is what it's processing, and it's resulting into a data set with so many observations and so many variables. So do you see anywhere your PDB contents been processed at the backend in log by default? No. Hence, what we are going to ask SAS is show us the contents of PDB while processing your data step. Hence, we write put log. Put log, a very simple meaning, show or put the values of your PDB or of your data step processing in log while every step is getting processed at every iteration of your data step. So put log, in case if I want to check the values for all these variables which have been processed, or I want to check the variable, suppose it's address 2, correct? It is the variable called address 3, not address 2, which we are going to look into your data. Okay, so in then I can give space and I want to see how it is extracting city value. I write city equal to. I want to see what are the state values. So I write state equal to. I want to see zip values and write zip equal to. So let's see how it is giving me the information. So now so when I'm executing it, it's a data step. It gives us the values in output. So it's giving you all 311 rows. So see, this is the log. So with put log, whatever we write that the variable and its value while processing in PDV, so it's giving me. So see, it's giving me, this is for address, 3 column value. This is what it's extracting city, it's extracting state and zip. So for instructions which I'm giving for only those variables, it will give me the value. But in case if I want to see this with all the contents of PDV, I can always write either a specific variable and check its value, or I can write put log and I can write underscore all underscore. So what does this underscore all underscore do? It's a keyword where I'm telling SAS to show all the variables been processed in PDV into log. Now I don't want to see for all 311 rows the values of your PDV. We are just debugging. So let's work with first 10 rows. Hence, we'll restrict the observations by writing in set statement the obvious equal to option, telling process only 10 rows from your input data set. So let's see what this put log is doing. So when I select this data step and I check my log, see it's processing only 10 rows. If you see the output, see, okay. And this is what in log it's giving. So this is the contents. Now it has got subsetted the values because you have used the condition to subset only with those people who reside in the country which consists USA. Therefore, you use this find function. Hence, it is subsetting. So it's telling at iteration number 3. So what is this underscore n underscore? So it's a default variable in your PDV created, which is a counting, or it's a counter for your data step iteration step. And you have a default variable in PDV, which is underscore error underscore. Now, what is this underscore error underscore? It's a default variable created, which indicates in your data step you are facing any error or there is no error. So it's telling there is no error, hence the value is 0. In case there is an error, it results to 1. So it's a Boolean expression, true or false. If error occurs, its value is 1. If there is no error, value is 0. And this is the number of iteration cycles of your data step. So this is the first row which has been processed. So it's showing you these values. So this is your address 3 and this is your city state zip been extracted. See, for state it's showing it's extracting only F, and for zip also the value is computed. See, this whole value is not coming. Correct? Are you getting it what put log is doing? Everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
We have already covered this before, but this is a detailed chapter in it. So wherever there is this condition satisfying, it's selecting those values and showing you in the output. All right. So let's move into the.
Ashwini,
Yes.
when we did not define put log, like when you had all 311 observations, the put log data also had the same data as output, but just condensed, right? Whereas when you did it with only 10 observations, you can see the original data, how it should have been. Am I right? Or is that what?
I did not get your question.
So right now, if you will see, pick any PDV. So in this you have state as C only. Yeah. No, 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 no. Yeah, it's half only.
Yeah, so
Zip code is half and this is half. Okay. So it's showing it like the output data only. Like the output
yeah,
data will also show same thing, right?
yes, this is how it's telling it's been processing.
Mm-hmm.
And what you see in output, you see what is your data value. This is your at the back end how it is processing.
But this is
This,
also not the original data, right? Because this should be state should be Florida.
yeah, so original is from address column, these are the values, and from this you are extracting every value separately.
Okay. Yeah. Now I can see till the end, till the error O1.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
But here also it is not showing error, right? It is showing zero errors, right?
So error is there is no syntactical error, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So how we are going to find it then?
So we are looking into it. That's what it's we are debugging.
Okay.
The original value is like this in your address tree column. But when we are extracting to extract this as your state, it's not coming correctly. That's what the logical error is. Though you are not getting any error message in log, but the result is improper. Getting it?
Yeah.
That's where the error message is. Sorry, that's where your logical error is, and that is where we are debugging that why it's not giving a correct value. So
Okay.
this is as per the instructions itself is it's coming, but we are not having any syntax error.
Yeah, that's why it is not showing any error. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, so it's telling error value is 0 because syntactically everything is correct in your program ideally. So that's what it is telling, that though as a programmer, you are writing a program, you're writing a code, you get an output, there is no error message, you see your output, but don't be satisfied that yeah, output is coming. Look into the output as per your requirement. Is it coming or matching? No, we find the values are truncated. So that means though there is no syntax in your program issues, okay, but the result is incorrect as per your instructions. So in that case, we term it as logical error. So debug is a technique. So debugging means you are digging, you are looking into that where actually the logic is failing or why we are not getting the values, though you are not getting any error message. Getting it? So that is what we are debugging into the data while processing, that where is the error occurring or where is the communication incorrect between the programmer and the system. Hence, it's not able to extract the values as per your logic. Are you getting it? Understood?
Yes.
Okay. So let's get introduced to some of the techniques of putlog. One of the putlog segment you have seen, that you have seen the variables and its value, or you can see the whole contents of PDV in the log by using underscore or underscore. So it's telling any text if you write with putlog, it will show you in log. So it's telling putlog statement can be used in data step to display the value of one or more variables, which we saw it earlier. And we can also see a specific text message which we have written along with putlog into your log. So in case if I want to, if I give this condition that I'm looking only for US value, I should give the indication in log that I can look into, or I can write this message telling I found US value. So what does this indicates in log? Okay, now just understand. When I'm writing this putlog statement with this text, I see this text into my log as well. So when I check this, see, because of this condition, I'm telling find in address 3 US. I gave this putlog. So in case this is true, it will immediately write the value that I have found US. Why? Because in my PDV, the country value is US. All right, getting it? See, US. Hence, it is selecting this value and I see found US. Now, along with this text, I could also, I have written putlog underscore all underscore because it's the contents of my PDB. So this is giving me my PDB contents. Correct? So this is at iteration 1, it's finding US in this first row. Then at iteration number 3, yes, at your third row, this value is finding US. Hence, the message it's coming found US in this row. Got it? So what was the sequence of writing this putlog? Immediately after writing this statement. Getting it? So this is just an indication for us that you have found US. In short, they just wanted to tell that whatever you write with putlog as a text, this text will appear into log. Getting it? So this is for the first row, this is for the third row, this is for your next row. Now which iteration it is? Fourth. So at fourth row, it's finding US. All right. I hope I'm making some sense, everyone.
Yes.
Yes, Ashwin.
So you can also use this putlog if you want to see only on a specific variable its value. You can write putlog value equal to, and it will show that value from your PDB as it is into your log. Either which ways, if you want to check the values by writing the city value is getting extracted and you want to apply quotation marks on it, you can apply this format telling dollar quotation with its width. So in case if it's extracting a value, suppose I comment this out, and here, okay, I can write plot. I want to just see for my variable city with format as dollar quote 22 dot. Now check. It will show me that city value is extracting at every iteration and only city value from the PDB will be shown into log with the quotation marks. So see. Alright, so in case if you want to just see the values, you can see the value with quotations. So it's a format which you are applying to check the values to apply the quotation along with its width. Alright, so it's just telling you the ways of looking at the values into your log. So in case if you want to see the contents of your PDB for all the variables, you write this keyword underscore all underscore, you see the contents in PDB from PDB into log. So you know very well, by default, whenever a data step is been executed, there are default two temporary variables created in PDB underscore n underscore and underscore error underscore. So this is the counter for your number of data step iterations been processed, and the iterations of your data step depends on your number of input rows been processed. Correct? So you can use this to display debugging message for some number of iterations of your data step. And what is underscore error underscore? It's nothing but it's an indicator either error occurred or it did not occur. So in case error is occurred, the value is 1. If no error, the value is 0. It's like a true or false statement or a Boolean expression. Whereas it displays debugging message when an error occurs. You can also use this variable for debugging techniques. Okay, now you have a short question. So it's telling you have this activity with A02. Insert the statements to display the values of underscore n underscore and underscore error underscore in the first 3 iterations of data step. Submit and view the log. What code did you add to the program to display the values? Go ahead, open this activity and try out that you want to see only the first 3 rows iterations information into log. So how will make use of these 2 temporary variables in your program to see these values only for first 3 iterations? Go ahead. Activity A02. So it's activity E02 for lesson 6. So in PG2 folder, lesson 6, activity E02. So I can always SAS and process. All right. So either you can use this logic. I hope you have written this same, that you are asking SAS to process only when observation is 3 and show the values for your putlog underscore n underscore equal to space underscore error underscore equal to 3. So in log, it will iterate only 3 rows from your input data, and this is what you see the values. Correct? So did you see the same? Right? Yes.
Why we are
Now
doing
audible?
error is equal to 3?
No, that was a typo.
Oh, okay, sorry.
My typo mistake. It
Okay.
was always equal to 3. So if you see in log that it is processing only first 3 iterations or first 3 rows, and it's giving you the contents of your PDB for underscore n underscore and error underscore error. Correct? So did you write the same way or some other logic?
No, I used OBS is equal to 3.
Okay, great. How about Nilima, Shanmuga, Priyanka? Are you able to work on this? Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, Ashwini.
Yes, I use the same thing.
Okay, great. So let's see. So this is where it's telling if underscore n underscore is greater than equal to 3, then you could use this logic, or this is one of the logic. So it will give you your log output like this, and it will process only 3 rows. Okay. So use underscore n underscore to execute put log on the first 3 iterations of data step, or you use OBS equal to process only 3 observations. Any of the logic can be used. Okay. So you can also, now this is just one of the additional point, that in case you want to write the message of your log at the end of your data step, you need to tell SAS there is an indicator which you need to provide, that which indicates SAS that it's the last observation. So how will create that indicator? So you can write this end equal to dataset option in your set statement or in your in file statement if you are reading from a raw file. So this is this, and you create a temporary variable. So you can give any name in this variable name, or you can give an alphabet also as a variable name. And this variable name will always have a Boolean expression that in case your data is processing and the current observation is not the last observation, the value will be 0. And in case it's the last observation, the value will be 1. Okay. So where to use, how to use the logic, we'll see it in upcoming topics. But at this point, just remember that you can create a temporary variable into your PDB which holds the Boolean expression, which is the counter if the current observation is the last observation or it's the not a last observation. In case if it's the last observation, it has a Boolean expression and the value is 1. In case if it's not the last observation, value is 0. So, for example, I'm using it here. So it is end equal to, there is no parenthesis for it, and I create a macro variable telling this is the value. And I also check last previous. Okay. So when I process this, you see it's telling first two observations are not the last observation, but when it reached to the third observation, because you have created this pointer, it is having its value as a Boolean expression. Yes, it's the last observation and the value is 1. All right. Understood? Yes.
Yes, Ashwin.
Okay. So this is what it's telling. Either you can write its condition. If it's last equal to 1, then do whatever the statement you are looking ahead. Okay. So look at here. Just so end is equal to last obvious. It's telling if your iteration is 1, then show input log the statement first iteration. If it's the last observation, then do it should give this statement into the log and it should give all the contents of your query. So this is what it's telling first iteration, and if it's the last observation, this is the contents of query. Okay, so you can use this logic anywhere in your program in future. How to use will come to know, you'll get introduced, but understand this end equal to what it is doing. All right, and thus you have the same demonstration. So please open this demo, lesson 6 D02, and work on it. It's demo D02 for lesson 2.
Ashwini,
Yes, Priyanka.
did you say to do 606D02?
Yes.
Is it on Orion mailing list, the same one which we were doing in the beginning?
Yes. Okay, I'll explain this. Now
It's
pay
not on
attention, everyone. Pay attention, everyone. Now look at this code. Okay. So this is your incorrect output data step. Pay attention, everyone. I'll explain you each step into it. So how we are debugging and how you got that, what is the error. Okay. Pay attention. Now looking into this, you find your state and zip is not getting extracted exactly what we are looking for. The values are getting truncated. So how will start debugging? Okay, so this was the output which we see in your output result window. Earlier we saw it's a data set which was created. So see, your result is incorrect. So you cannot pass on this incorrect data value, correct? So what you will need to do is you need to debug and find out the error. So with put log, you start looking here. So you are writing here the contents of your PDV should be seen. Hence put log underscore n underscore is equal to, when it is the first attrition, you are looking for country. Okay, so this is the text. This was your condition. If it's find US, and the value for US is always 0, greater than 0. Why? Because we know find is a function which, if it finds the value, it returns its position. If no, then its value is 0. So it's always consider that it will find this value and it's always greater than 0, right? And you can give the text in log that it has found US. That means this condition is true for searching your US. If it's true, then it should go ahead and find or put the sequence of your name in a proper sequence with your first name and then your last name. Then extract city, state, and zip. And you see the values for state and zip which getting extracted. So looking into your log now. Obviously, it will process all the rows. So it will show you the contents for all your PDV. So this is what, see, you show it is processing 424 rows, but it's telling your output data is having 311 rows. Why? Because we are working with the condition only where it is looking for US values. So see, because of the statement, it's giving you this contents. Now we don't want to see this all 424 rows. So let's restrict your data so that it helps us to debug in for limited rows, and you'll be able to find out the value. So let's work only with some 10 rows or 20 rows, okay? And look into your PD. So it makes your task simple for debugging. All right, let's check your log. So yes, it's iteration 1. It's looking for country. And yes, it's found US. And it is extracting zip and state, but it is truncated. Correct? So this is one way which you have looked into. So now it's telling what is the issue. So along with this values which you're looking for city state, I can also write that I want to see the values for address 3. All right. So let's see. Okay. Now understand carefully, see the contents of address 3 column value and see what it is extracting with city state. So what is missing? What is missing? Look it into carefully and check why it's not extracting correctly FL and zip code, though you have asked SAS to extract your words accordingly in scan. Yes, what is your logic missing in this program? Look at the original value and look at your value being extracted and see the syntax for state and zip. Tell me, as a programmer, to your eyes, what you find it's illogic. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm waiting for your inputs. Why it's not extracting correctly, though you have given this instructions in your city and zip. What is your original values and why it is extracting like this? That's what I'm asking you. Look into it. What is happening? Where is the logic missing?
Either the length or formatting.
Length.
No, length you have already provided. It's correct.
There two delimiters.
2 delimiters. No, your values are separately corrected with single delimiters, which
We
is
might
comma.
need to see the
Space.
file. There will be a space before it, so it's counting a space in first word.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So in case if you see your original data, see it's having a leading space. Here also it's having a leading space. So when it's extracting, because you have specified for scan for state only the second word, it's treating from here till here the second word. And here also for zip, the third word, of course it's the third word, but including this, it's extracting only this value and hence you're getting this. So how will correct here? Any idea? Yes, how will correct your statements?
Can we
We'll
just increase the length to 3 and 6?
Why you want to increase the length?
we'll take out that space.
Yes, so you can ignore space and ask SAS to select the values. So either you left align the values after scanning, or within your scan itself, you can specify your second delimiter. So let's try it out here. So in state, correct? Let's specify you have a space as well. And here also you have a space. Let's see if it is correctly extracted. So let's see your result. Correct. But see what is happening at this value. Though I've given space, it's not extracting correctly. See, this DI is coming. This CA, which is state, which is going to zip. Why? Because when I have used the space as one of the delimiter in my scan function also, I included that. So it's not extracting correctly. So see here, for first value is correct. Okay, for second value, all right. But when it comes to this third value, your state is taking DI, zip is taking CA. So what has happened? This
Because it
space
is
within
taking
your
the
data
space
of
as the div.
address.
Yeah, so now the third word becomes DI and
Yeah,
CA.
absolutely. So why I showed you this, because we as a data analyst, sometimes we think that yes, space is one of the delimiter, we give it, but understand within your data for your country column or your data value, within the words you have this space. So this space is a delimiter. So it's taking, this is your second word and this is your third word. Hence for state, it is the second word and this is zip for third word. Getting it now? So your space is one of the delimiter. This instruction is not going to work out here. So what we can work out is either we can ask SAS that when it is going to process your data for your data value, so why don't we ask it that it should scan this, and after scanning, it should ignore it leading space. So to ignore leading space, you make use of a function called as left. Okay, so that's what they have used. Scan this function or scan your second word, and after scanning, left align. After scanning, left align. So let's check whether it's doing it perfectly. Okay, yeah. So my second step here is left align. So when I left align, the values will be left aligned and it will ignore that leading space and will accordingly select FL or the second word appropriately without its leading space, and the third word, without its leading space, and you will find the data is no more truncated. All right, I hope it's understandable.
Yes.
So simultaneously you can read into that demo and move ahead. Meanwhile, my result appears, you can just move ahead and work on that demo. Up till this step, then we'll see the next steps. Okay.
This
So
meeting
once we have done left align, you could have observed in your output data set the changes and of course the correct way of your data has been resulting. So now let's move ahead with your for next step of this demo, that remove your put log statement, and now the corrected statement which you have written, you process this data and see the output. Correct? So this is what you had done the put logging, or by debugging techniques of put log statement, you have learned how one can look into logical error. All right, so that's the end of this lesson. So let's have one exercise for this. So come to your PDF. So it's lesson 6. Exercise page 6-30. So it's telling you already have a code available of exercise. It's E01. Compare your results to the correct output below. Notice that your output is different. There are no error or warning message in log. Insert a put log statement to check program flow and display the values of the variables you are creating with the sum statement and or the assignment statement to see whether you can identify the errors. Correct the errors, resubmit the program and verify your results. So let's open this E01. ready to use code. Okay, so what this code is actually, we are working with an input data order summary. So in case if you see this data set, this data set is actually giving you the summary, or this is the summary report where for all the customers in every month, what is the sale. So this is the data which is sorted or is arranged on the basis of customer ID, where for every customer in each month, what is the sale. So what is this code doing? If you have observed this code carefully, it's creating a summary data set where for within the group of every customer, you are calculating its total sale. Correct? And you could see that you are summarizing table. Hence, you are writing this concept by customer ID, you're processing your data within groups. So when you're processing your data set within groups, you know, by default, SAS will create two temporary variables. First dot, your by variable name, and last dot, your by variable name. So you're processing within the groups to calculate its total sales and to subset the data only when it is the last observation of the group. So in case when you submit this data step along with your proc print, let's see what is the result.
Ashwini, the
So
accumulating
do
variable
we see the
spelling is
exact
wrong.
values?
Ashwini,
Yes,
the accumulating variable spelling is wrong in the code. If you did
here
they give
it's total cells, here it's total cells. Okay, fine. So let's check it now.
TOTAL, right? You have to give the same variable name, no?
Yes, absolutely correct. So that was one of your maybe logical error. So that you had to look with putline. That was your activity. So
Oh.
this is where it's giving you. Yes. All right. So it's telling compare the results, check the warnings. So earlier when I did not have this correction of my spelling, what my
Okay.
log was
Is the
telling.
exercise
Let's check.
again? Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, Nilima, go ahead.
Nothing. I felt they did some mistake, spelling mistake, but I think that is the exercise we have to do now.
Yeah, that is the exercise we have to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
Using log debugging.
absolutely. You need to debug.
Okay.
Ashwini, can you explain that to me again? I did not get that.
Which point you're talking, Priyanka?
Oh, the the debugging part of this one.
No, we are just looking, I'm looking into this data set by writing debug statement,
Yeah.
log underscore all. I'm seeing
Mhm.
the contents of PDV. And when
Yeah.
I'm checking the contents of PDV, here I could see my PDV contents with it's because of subsetting, it's telling last customer ID is 1. Yes, it's true. And it's telling this total cell value is missing. And I'm getting total cells. Then it's telling that these are the contents, that it's at attrition 4, there is no error, but this value is not creating correctly. So why it's not creating correctly? When I check my log, I find that this variable and this variable are the same, but it's creating this as a new variable. But though these are the same, there is a spell check for me. So let's correct it and do the correction in my program. The simple thing for your
But
foot log. That's it.
so in this, if the custom, like if it's the first customer, then the answer will always be 0, right?
Yeah, if it's the first customer, which answer is 0? It's first dot and last dot will be 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underscore.
It won't give us any logical error message that yes, you have an error. We
No,
have to look the contents.
yeah, but in total sales is always 0 or like missing value. Don't we want the answer to that total sales?
See the spelling check, and that's what I'm telling you. This is what the different column it's taking. This is different column it's taking, because in your program, your column name is wrong, which you have placed. So it's creating this as a new variable because you have written it as an assignment statement. So initially it will take 0, and this will be a sum statement, but initially it will take 0, but it will not keep on incrementing. It will keep on incrementing, but this variable, what about this? Is it really required? So it's actually the same variable within the group. You have to initialize it 0, correct? Hence, we are writing that when your customer ID, it's starting within the group. If it's 5554 observations like this, so at the initial of your first observation, it should initialize to 0. Then it should increment, and within that last observation of 4 rows of customer ID, it should write it immediately to the output data set. That's what it's giving you actually. See, it's giving you, but when you check your log, you find this is what? What is this? So it's actually your spell check. You have to correct it here. That's it. So you will not get any type of error now. Or you will not get this as a logical error in log when you write foot log. That's it.
Ashwini,
Understood, Priyanka?
why can't we do the spell correct in the sum statement? Like
Any
why?
which way. Any which way. Any which way. Either you do the correction here or here.
Because we are first creating the accumulating variable, so we'll use the same variable in the sum statement. We can go that way also.
Absolutely. But it's the same name, right?
Yes, yes. So that correction we can do in this also, in the sum
Either
statement.
either you want this, so you correct this. Any which way. So it will not create two different variables. It will be single variable now. Getting it?
Yes, it has to work.
Let's see what has happened. Because I've changed the spelling, in my keep also I should change it, correct?
Okay, okay. So by debugging, we are getting to know that two different variables are created using spelling mistakes, and then
Absolutely, yes. Because at the back of the mind, we give the instructions, but we tend to forget that there are spell checks to be done for our column. So with debugging, you come to know that you need to create columns appropriately with appropriate spellings.
yeah.
All right, Priyanka, I hope you've understood.
Yes.